without the need to get them to get it. I'm fine. I'm happy. I'm grateful for what I do have. That's so good. I have been with this company to get childcare for since he's hard for a regular babysitter to handle. And um, the babysitter, after, she's been with us a couple of months, 2 days a week. And the one time she was here, I mean, she just kept saying, help, I don't know what to do with him when he's like this. And so, and she was triggering Michael and being like, it seemed overly strict. So I went to the company because I was feeling stressful. Like when she came, I really need respite, but I feel like I have to take care of both of them. So I asked the company, could you train her? Could you help her work on being a little bit more flexible and how to connect with him? And next thing I know, they say that I can't leave them and that I have to stay there because they're going to build their relationship. And then they said, we're pulling her. So you're not going to have anyone in your home. We'll try to find someone else. But they've been trying to find someone else already for months. And it was like this person was still the stopgap until they find someone for me, for our family. And now they say they're pulling her. And I was just like, I'm pissed. I need help. I asked one simple thing. Can you work with her on being more flexible and building a relationship with him? And now I get freaking like nothing. And so sure enough, I said, well, hey, what the heck? Like, I haven't had any voice in this. We haven't had a meeting. So they set a meeting for Monday, but they already said she won't be here on Friday. I'm like, what the F? I already have plans. Eric and I wanted to get away. We need this. And you're telling me that you're not sending her. I'm just like, so I already wrote back and I said, this is crazy. They had a really good day last weekend. We are all planning on them being together on Friday. I've had no voice. So I, at the same time, can't even imagine having the conflict and conversation with them because I hate that I feel like I have no power. I don't feel like they're going to listen to me. Ugh. But I can't have nothing. Of course, I want to like find another company. But in the meantime, like I freaking want them to complete their, and of course, they sold me a bill of goods when I signed on. Oh, this is going to be amazing. So much help. And you're going to have people to call when you're in crisis. And every time I call, she's busy. And they clearly are not equipped with what they told me, what they promised me. It just feels awful.
It's hard. So, first of all, just to really take care of business, today is Wednesday, what would be the outcome you would want even between now and Friday? You've done every bit of negotiating you can with them. And even if you decide to go with her not being the best as you want her to be, but her or someone, they're saying absolutely no, we can't get you anyone for Friday.
That opens up. I mean, that's the other thing I could say. Well, there is a supervisor child caregiver, and I could say, well, if you're not going to send me your local person, which she's not super trained, but I'm happy to have her, then yes, send someone out from Sacramento and get me someone. I've already told them I'm depending on someone on Friday.
Okay, so you have already gone to negotiating that with them and you don't know yet if it's a yes or a no?
No, you brought that up that I could say I need someone. I guess the fear is that they will still say no.
Right,
Uh,
and at least you have asked. But so what is the fear around them still saying no? And I'm not trying to make fun of you or anything. I know that's like if you're afraid you'll, explode on them or something, and then they'll say, well, screw you, we don't want to work with you, or what is your fear if they
uh,
say no? if you ask and they say no.
Right. I think it's more of the, I'll never get my needs met. Nobody will listen to me. Nobody helps me. Nobody's there. Nobody supports me. Um, because they were offering support. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love I've got these written down, some really, good one-liners that I know that you spent last year kind of really dialing in and discovering, so it's always good to see them and see how kind of black and white they are, where they may minimize. You might be getting the way we got support in every aspect of our lives, and then this thing goes away and we say, nobody's there for me, nobody supports me, nobody helps me. So, and it may feel that way when it comes to Michael. You may feel so alone, but you can come back and I'll send you a copy of this and ask in any situation, is it true? Because these were not just nobody is helping me. These are kind of general statements that you just said. Nobody helps me. Nobody is there for me. Nobody supports me. So,
Right.
and watch how the mind goes real black and white like that.
Yeah, but if I sit with hearing that, no, I think it is much more specific. It's this company. It's not yeah, yay. I don't feel like that in the whole world at all anymore. It's this company doesn't care. This company, yeah, I need them and they are not supporting me.
And that means what about you or about them? What does your mind tell you? And that means,
I mean, it sounds, yeah, silly. And I don't know. It's even scary to think I can't work with them, right? Like, yeah, there is a little bit like, what's wrong with me? Why can't this company is supposed to specialize in this shit? Why can't they help me? What is wrong with my family that they can't even help me?
yeah, it's so easy to flip back and forth, blame, shame, blame, shame. It's them, it's me, it's what did I do wrong? Something's wrong with me. Yeah. So, in looking back at the other, also the one-liners is, then just to kind of take stock of all this, and then we'll figure out where to go with it. Um, it's hard for the sitter to handle. She doesn't know what to do with him. She is triggering him. She is overly strict. I need her to be trained. I need her to be a little flexible. I can't leave them. I have to stay there. They are pulling her, is what they said. We are pulling her. Can't find someone else. And then yours is I need help. Um, this is crazy. When you said they had a good day last weekend, who was that?
The Michael and the babysitter.
Okay. And did you share that with them and they still aren't willing to send her again?
In the most recent message. I mean, yeah, so there's trigger around Friday. I need her Friday. I feel like I'm gonna flip out if they really don't listen and send her Friday. Like, I just think that's so unfair to just make that decision unilaterally before we've had our meeting even.
Right.
I know
Right. So,
maybe
and that is partly why I was like, there's some real problem solving and negotiation potentially here. And if you've asked and let them know very clearly that yes, you would like her to get more trained. There are ways you feel she's too strict. There are ways that you feel that's triggering Michael or it's taking too much of your time. And the training is a good idea, whether it's her or someone else, but they did have a good day last weekend. I do have a commitment from you guys. I want you to follow through. This is a business arrangement. I am counting on you. I don't care if you have to send, maybe good to have the supervisor come from Sacramento so that they see what we're up against and they can recommend somebody good. At this point, the ball is in your court. What are you going to do? We're not waiting till Monday. We need to have this conversation now. So, and say that, okay, the training doesn't have to happen before she comes back again. I need her back or someone qualified so that we can follow through with our plans. And I don't know if you can be that assertive and see, you may get a no, and yet it's still, if you don't ask and keep an eye on your own priorities. But, I so absolutely know and empathize with that feeling that you have going into the meeting on Monday. I think I have figured out the same feeling that I have when I'm beating myself up that I used to call the kicked in the stomach feeling is the same feeling I have when there's anger, frustration, something stops me from getting what I need or going where I want. And the sense that there's no way that person can hear my side of it. There's no way they're going to change their tune or really take my part, or it just like, it feels like, that's where I could write letters and try to get the words just right. Oh, if I can just say it right, then they'll be able to hear me. And I used to be that with my husband and, whatever. I've got a situation that we had like that going on for the last couple of weeks. And I just think I really saw them and let go of it as of today. Just say absolutely. It's like going to the hardware store for a loaf of bread, trying to get blood from a stone. There is a limit there in what they have. And if you really see that they're short-staffed, you really see that they are not taking your concerns seriously, you really feel you won't be heard by them, even though they are supposed to be so specialized, then, you may have to stop barking up that same tree. But lots of times when you stand in your own court and care about your own priorities and set the tone and ask for or even demand what you want, it is a business arrangement, then you may be heard more than you realize. Since there's a lot of history for you, a childhood of not being heard and not getting needs met. So I don't know, we can't know. And dynamics can really change when we act on our own behalf. But anyway, so coming back to that, then what's right now, if I were to say, what's getting in your way? What would be the outcome you most want right now? And what would be stopping you from getting that?
um right now in this call, I was hoping to, the work usually gets me through the trigger of needing it, of thinking that my, survival depends on, I need you to send me her on Friday. And if you don't, that means, right, life is horrible. I'm
And
not okay.
I did hear that. Yeah, you said it again. I wrote it on this other page. I need her Friday. If not, I'm going to flip out. So just the fact though that you're recognizing that, I think already you're kind of being the observer that you have some choice, that it could be that the day turns out far better than you ever imagined when you open your mind to that. But let's just do that real quick. You need them to send her or someone on Friday. Is it true?
Yeah.
I think you got a big strong yes right now. That's cool. I want to honor that. Don't even try to see through it. Can you absolutely know that that's what you need? I need them to send her or someone else on Friday.
Um, immediately I got, okay, what I need them to do is ask. I at least need them to freaking talk to me. Here's why we don't think we should send her. Is that okay with you? Like not fucking 2 days before you don't get your commitment filled. So I need them to ask me. I can see that maybe there's something I don't know. Maybe there's some reason. And if we talked, I would say, all right, I'll deal.
Right. I mean, that's phenomenal that you saw that. That is a really good reason to be talking to them first thing in the morning or whenever you're able to get back to them. That you're like, okay, I am open to the idea that you may have a really good reason, but otherwise, I'm comfortable enough with this. But I think that is so interesting that it skipped from the I need this day. I need them to send somebody to I need them to talk to me and tell me why they're not sending somebody. So does that make a difference, even if you don't get your special day? At least if they have respected
Right.
you enough to, like, the logic of your mind says, okay, I agree. But I don't know. Can you?
Yeah, then there's some humanity, there's some consideration, there's some relationship. Yeah.
So in a way, some of this is about that hurt and being kind of left out in the cold, even more than it is about having Friday off, it sounds like, or it's both, but
It feels, yeah. Mm.
can you just go to that one for a minute? Sometimes Katie would say, love the one you're with, but sometimes we can skip and come back. So you need them to tell you why, and then you'll be okay, or at least you'll feel better. You need them to tell you why. Is it true?
Yes.
Can you absolutely know that it's true that that's what you need? You need them to give you their logic.
That feels still like
Like a what?
a happy yes. My best wish for us is yes.
Yeah, and they might give you logic that you think is bullshit. Like, it doesn't necessarily get you from point A to point B, but how do you react? Now that you've had this aha, this awakening, this realization about just them pushing you out with no consideration, no real explanation that satisfies you. And it feels like, okay, if they would just consider me, share with me, talk to me, then I'd be feeling a lot better. How do you react when you believe that thought? Your one liner was, I need them to talk to me. How do you react when you believe that thought?
Um, I I want them to do something still. So what I'm always saying is it's still my happiness is in their hand, but it feels reasonable and it feels like I'm considering both of our needs and it seems like it would be good for both of us. And so it feels settled in a way of like, oh, here's something, a compromise that would feel good for both sides.
I noticed that this is a really different kind of a question 3, because in some ways that thought brought you some relief. I think, how do you react when you believe that thought? Oh, I feel hopeful again. I feel like, oh, under this circumstance, maybe it'll all be okay, or at least I won't feel so stomped on by them. So, and I think it's also important what you said to notice, oh, okay, that sets up a condition now. If only blank, then I'll be okay. If only they would blank, take care of me, take care of the part of me that feels, yeah, ignored and my needs aren't important to them. So it's both a good little opening, and it's really good to be aware too of the level of, that's a recipe for resentment as well, of further frustration if you've decided under those conditions, okay, maybe we're okay. Maybe that, and then if they don't do that, or they do it but you don't like their logic, or they don't have time to call you back, or so how do you react is, like you said, putting a bunch of eggs in that basket. It's still,
Yeah.
I also felt like maybe it was partly that it was suddenly you were maybe backing down on some whatever. Yeah, I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to ask for what I want. And did she go away? Yep, there she is. Sorry. Is that, did it kind of make you forget about advocating for really getting somebody out there on Friday, no matter what? Whether they explain, whether they don't explain, let's see, this is our
Right.
arrangement.
No, it just like it feels like if there were a bridge, if we could just talk, then I would be able to still ask without feeling like I hate you guys, you're the enemy. You suck. You treat me awful. Okay, we're going to talk. Here's what I want. What do you want? Like I'm still going to ask for what I want, but
Okay, great. But you feel like, yeah, you'll understand their logic and be heard a little more, maybe. So just real quick on this one, we'll come back to the other one, and then I want to check in with folks. Is it, how would you react? How do you react thinking about talking to them, thinking about asking to get your needs met for Friday? How do you react? What happens? Or no, I'm sorry. Who would you be going into this conversation? This is interesting because this is an example of maybe this was not a stressful thought. And sometimes doing the work on a thought that's not stressful isn't really, kind of the whole point of it. But I also
no,
think we,
it's still like we were saying stressful saying if I'm going to be saying I need you to talk to me before you cancel Friday,
right.
right? Um, it's still stressful.
It still
So
felt like it set up a condition.
yes, if I didn't need that condition for the whole house of cards to not fall apart. So the question four still works. The question
Yeah.
from
So
you.
who would you be without that little happy dream that floated in there? That, oh, if only they would blank.
Yeah, this is where I take your advice of just, I don't even know, but it would be the absence of the, oh my God, I'm not going to be okay unless this happens. So the opposite of that is, I guess I would feel okay and open to whatever happens. Even them jerking me around. It
Yeah,
must be.
and and maybe we can check in with everybody, but would you want to hear one of my ideas about who you might be without that thought? When you're aware of what you've created with that thought, then you can still let them be who they are. You can know they probably have their reasons. They're short-staffed. They don't trust her for whatever reason. You've hired them to be the experts. They may or may not explain their logic to you. And even if they do, you may not agree with it. But that doesn't mean that, so whether or not they do that, you still get to advocate for yourself, for Michael, to ask for what you want, to help problem solve around the time off, to really assert yourself, and in a way that where you haven't fueled the anger by believing, well, they're not even accommodating me, you can even take their part and almost say it for them. Wow, I am sure you guys have some really good reasons, and I would love to know more about them and work in partnership with you. And at the same time, here's what's going on my side. This is critical to me that you send somebody that I get to follow through with my plans, that this is a business arrangement and you honor your commitment. And I want to tell you, whatever it takes, problem solving, I just want to see it happen. what can you do for me? If you want, you can explain your reasons more. I would love for us to understand each other better. And whether or not you do, I'm still interested in not waiting until Monday to get resolution. We have a commitment for Friday. That kind of thing might be who you would be without that thought.
So right. Yeah.
It's-
So without the thought, I would be saying I'm just going to um agreeably stand up for my needs and expect a good solution.
Yeah, it's like if we just do a quick turnaround, I
Mhm.
want me to tell them, I want me to talk to them. I mean, really talk to them from your heart. Say, wait, I had such high hopes. I want us to be partners. I felt a little stomped on yesterday. I know you guys have your really good reasons, and I want you to care that I have mine, just so that turnaround. I want me to talk to them to set the tone for that partnership instead of that, adversarial. Not always easy.
Oh, yes.
Especially when you feel you're not being heard. I know.
Oh, that is exactly. I can feel it in my body. I knew I could get there with you, Shawn. Thank you. I know. It's like I know there's a way to be not adversarial with them. What the heck is it?
Well, and
Okay.
I want me to talk to them, but I want me to talk to myself as a turnaround to the self too. Like really care what you need. Maybe hold that littlest part of you that feels so freaked out about not getting Friday and just, kitty. And just really, what does that mean to you right now? How are you not talking to you? How are you not caring for you? How is the focus all on them? So, if you look that turnaround.
Yeah. Yeah. So if the belief is I get stomped on, I get jerked around, and then the turnaround is, wait, no, I respect myself. Everybody respects me. I'm sure I will not get stomped on.
I'm sure I will somehow get my needs met on Friday. And then the turnaround, the opposite. What do you got for I need them to talk to me to tell me their reasons?
Okay, sorry, hold on. I'm sure I will get my needs met Friday. I I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the recording in time, so I'm trying to write it down now. Sorry.
That's fine, yeah. And if you want to remind me in the morning or something, but yeah, or later tonight.
Yeah, so then I don't need them to talk to me.
I need me to talk to them. I need me to talk to myself. I don't need them to open their hearts and talk to me. They're probably in a scary defensive position right now because they're not meeting the needs of an important client. They want to keep you, and then they're seeing, oh, we got our reputation on the line as somebody who can handle challenging kids, and she's telling us it's not working and we're freaking out. So you never know. You don't need them to tell you unless they do. They may not want to be that vulnerable because they're trying to run a business. There's just all the reasons why. And maybe you don't need them. I don't know. I don't want to be giving you turnaround. Sorry. I'm just trying to move it forward. But maybe the reasons why you thought you needed it, if you can spend a little time thinking what those are and give them to yourself.
Yeah, I I always want to get to the point where I can say I don't need their validation or acknowledgement or respect to know that I matter.
Yeah, I need me to care that I had a special day planned. I need me to keep my own counsel and see, yeah, there are some reasons why they don't have the right person for me yet.
Yeah, and just like you said about the medical bills stuff, like the fear is I can't handle this. I was counting on this. I'm not going to be able to get through Friday without some help. And so the turnaround that you said was maybe, I can handle this.
Yeah, I am going to be able to get through Friday. with exactly the amount of help I have, whatever that is. You might get real creative. But yeah, then that other one-liner, if you want to come back to it later, was I need you to send me or someone on Friday. And then you could work with that or so that you get a little more. Yeah. I need
Yeah,
whatever shows up on Friday, and I might not be in charge, but you can still ask for it. So
it opened up a huge thing just to tell you, when you said they must have their reasons, that was a huge light bulb. Because to me, in my mind, now I know that was a story, a very clear story. They have no reason to pull her yet. This is crazy. And that was brand new thought in my head that they might have their reasons, and I don't know what they are. Thanks.
right, and they're protecting their business interests as well as whoever else they're trying to serve, and all. And it's a juggling act, I'm sure. But I also like the turnaround of the other one. I need them to send somebody. I need me to send somebody. I need me to send me, or I need me to get somebody else. And if I can't, or figure out something, I don't know if there are places that have little, even for a while, a little daycare thingy at the mall or wherever that is that you get to go to lunch. I don't even know if you can do that with Michael, but anyway, so but
Then at this point, I can see, okay, something else could happen Friday that could be just lovely, but at least I'm not so pissed at them anymore. I was pissed at
yeah.
them. They had no reason, but maybe
And
they.
I need me to send me for me as well as for Michael. All right, thank you.
I'm sorry. I need me to send me for me.
That you said that was the one liner we didn't work, which again, I'll take a pic. I need you to send me her or someone else on Friday. I need me to send her or someone else on Friday by advocating. I need me to send me or someone else on Friday, would sort of be the, you know, maybe it's going to be you, whether you send you to rescue you, send you to take care of Michael in some new wonderful way. I don't know what it means. So yeah, I
Thing.
don't need them to send her or someone else unless they do. Yep.
Yeah.
I've really been struggling, like I said, for a thing where this person that I have done business with for the last year is just flat out got their facts wrong about a lot of what they're using to justify the way they're seeing us, the way they've sort of failed us, and I've asked them either for money back or more time. And not that I didn't have my part in it, but they've put it all back on me. And it has that is a journey for me. I know when I feel that that person isn't going to be able to hear my arguments, and I'm not good at saying them in a sort of a short and concise way. And then also their characterization just puts me into defense. So all day today I kept saying, okay, I've let go of a lot of it, but I still want to do a piece of work on it. And I haven't, but just knowing that it's there and that I'm going to get some, I mean, these teachers come for us. So many things in your life are so much better. And mine too, where I've got my next door neighbor, and then I've got, this was a big, expensive challenge for me, a lot of losses for me and my team, and the way the whole thing went. And I can't convince them of that they sort of owe me something in return. So, yet at least, but really looking at what's the cost to me today, I just really got the forgiveness piece that we talked about. I noticed the shift in myself, in my gut, the minute I think I need to get them to see my point of view or get them to act fairly out of understanding that. It's almost like you're already lost when you feel like they have to get it in order for you to have the life you want. And it just, the minute I let go of that, I'm fine. I'm happy. I'm grateful for all I got from them. But then the minute my mind switches into, no, I need it them to acknowledge this and see this and do this. Just like, and it is like that forgiveness thing where who is actually the one that hurts when I shift into that mindset. But we still have to work on that doormat quotient, how much are you willing to be a doormat? And for me, sometimes I use these situations to grow myself, to go ahead and say my part, even if I know I'm not going to get the outcome I want. At least I didn't just censor or shut down my perception of what happened to me. And maybe I don't say it in the best way that I'd like to, but it keeps growing me anyway, sometimes when I try. So anyway, I think that's one of the hardest things is when you feel you're being, kind of unfairly perceived, or the person that you need most to be on your side is not. So I'm sure everyone can relate.
Mm. Without the need to get them to get it. I'm fine. I'm happy. I'm grateful for what I do have. That's so good.
And I think for me, the confusion comes into, okay, yeah, I've always been, I've worked hard on looking at my part and continuing to shift and not making it about them. And then there are other times where it's like, no, the journey is making it, is negotiating to not just walk away from the table without, so it's a judgment call in every situation. And I think for you to advocate for yourself for Friday is a good idea rather than just letting them call the shots and waiting till Monday. You may not get what you want, but I think if you come at it from this perspective of taking their part and setting the tone for the relationship that you want instead of waiting for them to do that. So any follow-up comments, anyone? And then we'll check in with Anita.
I think, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thanks for sharing all that. And I just keep hearing that you have to talk before they could say yes for Friday. And I'm just questioning if that is true. Like, is it really true that you have to have a conversation before you can get them to meet the commitment on Friday? Or could it go differently?
But I do think it was so neat, though, when you realized, Linda, that your littlest heart of hearts was hurting and wanting them to see you and explain to you and care about you. And that really softened everything a lot more and allowed them to be kind of human too. And you can still ask for that and negotiate and see if they will share with you. But it's not like a black and white thing. And like Deneen said, it doesn't mean you can't still ask for what you want. But I just love it in marriages and in other places when we are able to kind of be big enough and do our own work and set the tone that they actually can't get to on their own. And we're still waiting for them to do it for us, but maybe they really can't. But you can be big enough to sort of hold them and yourself. Maybe that level of safety will get them confiding more in you, but it's not a deal breaker if they don't. Yeah, I think you've seen that now. So it's a great little piece of work. I'm really so glad that realization came up for you.
Yeah, and we've talked about this before as a group. Like, if I can show up the way that I want to show up, ideally in my limited ability, but feel like I'm holding them as well as holding me, then whatever the heck happens, I'll at least know I went into it centered, right? We were just
I
talking about.
know those times when I can't, when I think I'm going to be able to, and it's something that part of me that isn't getting seen gets defensive or triggered or needs to make my point or doesn't. It all sounds well and good, and I think you'll be able to do it. You've done this work, but sometimes we feel so threatened or our needs are so big that all we can do is react, and you want to be kind to yourself. That's part of the journey too, is seeing, oh yeah, here's a piece. I'm not, wasn't able, that's that conversation that I had. There was one time when just sort of being accused or just so unfairly, that's your perception of us, really? And I'm just wanting to, like, I wish that I was somebody who could sit there and take notes like I do with you guys, and then say, oh yeah, I hear that. And then I get to say my point instead of, there was just that one time and I jumped in and defended, but that was like kind of a deal breaker. And yet, so, we do the best we can, come so far. And yet, you'll see whether you get triggered or not. But I do think you've laid some groundwork here, and you have a lot of power in this situation. That's the other thing you said. I have no power. I think you do. You have the power to set the tone, to ask for what you want. You're the one who gives them money. You're the one who can take it away. So, all right.